recall you telling me a story about when you were at the bank there in Tempe and Grady Gammage asked you to get down with Frank Lloyd Wright. Would you relay that?
Well, it's a little different than that. I was on the city council, and I was elected to the city council in '56, and this must have been, when did Dr. Gammage die? 57?
December 58.
58, okay. It could have been like 57. The mayor of Tempe was a druggist downtown Tempe, Hugh Laird. Incidentally, I was on that council, and everyone on that but me was old enough to be my father. They were all old-timers in Tempe and didn't want to do anything unusual. They had a rule that they wouldn't let a builder come into town that would build more than 3 houses at one time. They didn't want a subdivision. But anyway, Hugh Laird called me and he said, Frank Lloyd Wright is supposed to be on site today, and I'm supposed to be there with him, and I can't go. Can you go for us? As on the city council. I said, sure. So I just walked down 3 blocks there to the site, and Grady Gammage was there, and Gilbert Cady, and we were waiting for Frank Lloyd Wright, and finally he drove up in a big, I think he had a big 2-seated touring car with no top on it. But he got out and he had a flat Mexican hat, and he had a cane and a cape on him. And we were in suits. I think it was in the fall or maybe the winter of the year. It wasn't hot, it wasn't cold. But anyway, he came out to look at the site, and it was a jungle out there at that time. It was, they had all the rakes and tractors and all the lawn equipment out there in the curve, where the curve is. It was just a storage place, all it was. And I think a part of the stadium was in that, the old stadium.
Well, that was sort of the farm,
well,
part of the farm of it.
Well, that's true. Well, anyway, funny thing, he had this cane, and the dust was about that deep, and all of us had on black shoes and suits, and Wright kept pecking on the ground with his cane, and I got to looking down, and Katie saw it too, that he was flipping dirt all over Dr. Gammage's shoes, and the cuffs of his pants was just coated with dust, but he didn't know it. But he would, like a setter would look, a dog, you know, setter, he would do like this and look over here, and I'd look over there, and I don't know what he's looking at. Then he'd do like this, he'd look over there. He was trying to envision what way he should point the auditorium. Should point it over here, should point it over there. So he was working at it, and he knew what he was doing, but I didn't. But it wasn't long, it was probably 20 or 30 minutes, but he was getting an idea of how to set the auditorium and where it was to be set. So that was my experience with the great Frank Lloyd Wright.